Hello everyone. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about Maya and what Maya actually is. So Maya is the illusion of separation, and often in spiritual circles we learn that the world is Maya, or we hear that the world is Maya, the world is an illusion, or the world is a dream. And this interpretation of how we perceive or what we believe this meaning to be isn't actually accurate. So the world is not a dream, and the world is not unreal. The world is not an illusion. It's what we believe the world to be, how we perceive the world. That's the illusion. So Maya doesn't exist in the external world. Maya exists within our minds. It's our beliefs. It's our perceptions. So often the analogy of the dream is used in many spiritual teachings as a way to try to explain Maya, if you like. So it's not that the world is a dream, it's that the world is likened to the dream. And that goes like this. So when we fall asleep at night, right, we fall asleep in our beds. And in order to fall asleep, we have to, the mind is actually what falls asleep. The mind ceases to have thoughts arise, and we enter into sleep. And then when we dream, the mind, if you like, wakes back up. And when we have the dream, the mind has the power and the ability to create a separate individual person, which is the self in the dream, which is experience in the dream. And the mind has the ability to create separate individual people, things, places that we experience as the dream. And it's not until we wake up that we realize that everything and everyone, including the person we believe to be in the dream, was made of the same one mind. That in actual fact, there was no separation or individual identity to the characters or the people or the places or the things in the dream, that the whole dream was created and made of the mind. So when we're talking about this in spiritual terms, if we then take that and apply it to the waking state, so we can say that one state of consciousness or awareness is that I am this body mind, I am this personality, separate from everyone and everything that I experience in the world. When in actual fact, when we take the dream analogy, I am actually pure consciousness, and everything that I experience to be people, places, things, and objects in the world is also made of that same one consciousness. And that's where the illusion of separation dissolves. So we can sometimes argue or question, well, then how comes I feel like this, I feel like me, and that tree over there feels and is experienced differently to me? And this is because that one same consciousness is expressing itself through its power of creation, which is part of Maya, right? That appears to be separate, but that's the illusion. The illusion is that we believe everything and everyone to be separate from us, rather than seeing everything and everyone as a unique expression of that same one consciousness. So when we come to the spiritual path, or when we start to take up spiritual practices, whatever that may look like. There are many, many paths, but the main goal of our spiritual work, if you like, is to realize the truth of what we are, which is pure consciousness. And then that dissolves the illusion of separation. And we realize that everything and everyone in the world is a unique expression of that same one consciousness. So why is this important? Well, if you imagine going about our lives, we're constantly believing that we are individual and independent, right? That we are separate. And it's this belief and this Maya, if you like, which creates all of our unnecessary suffering. So it's also very simple, actually, to discover this interconnectedness, this same one consciousness expressing itself through its own power when we take a look at nature. So if we take a look at a tree, we see a tree and the mind labels that tree, tree. And language instantly creates separation and division, because language gives every form a name, right? Nama rupa, we call this in the East. So everything we see and feel and hear and taste and touch with the five senses through which we perceive has individuality, if you like, and creates that sense of separation. And then through language, that heightens or intensifies that separation by giving it a name or a label, right? And then we identify with what we have believed to be, right? So I am me, I am this, and that's you, or that's that, right? And this is living in it's living through the lens of Maya. It's living through the limited belief that Maya creates, which is created in the mind. So it's not that we are as these forms, right, which is the unique expression of that same one consciousness. It's not that they're not unique, but it's that they're not separate from, right, our true, the source of this expression and all other expressions is the same one consciousness. So the spiritual path is really about dissolving that illusion, discovering the truth of what we really are, realizing that this body mind, as all other body minds and all other things or objects, animals, people, are unique expressions of that same one consciousness. So it's not that we experience the world differently to others. We still see trees and we still see people, but the difference is now, through self-realization, we know that what we perceive is the same one consciousness. It's not that there are separate, individual, independent, people, places, situations, and experiences, right? We see the world still the same as it is. We still experience the world the same as it is, yet we know it to be not what we have previously believed it to be. And that changes everything, because it changes the way we perceive ourselves. It changes the way we meet different situations, challenging situations or uncomfortable situations. It changes the way we process and face every experience, like intense or difficult emotions. It changes the way we interact with others and the world. It changes the way we make decisions and choices, right? We're able to discern between what is our conditioning and our limiting belief from the illusion of separation on what is truth. And then the way we live our lives and that ripples out around us is very, very different. So we can easily take this as the physical form. So if we take a tree, we see a tree, and that tree includes roots and its trunk and bark and the branches of the tree and the leaves and its blossoms and its fruits, right? And that tree form has color and shape, right? But when we take a closer look and we start to inquire, what is it that makes up that tree? We start to realize that the tree can only exist. The tree can only be a tree because of its environment, because of its surroundings. So, for example, a tree is made up of the soil, the earth, right? The air, the oxygen and the carbon dioxide that we breathe in and out. Also, the tree is breathing in and out. The sunlight gives the energy to the tree, right? When the tree has blossoms, the insects and the bees come and pollinate and use that as their food. And then when the fruits come, humans eat them and other animals eat them, and that creates the energy that makes our bodies and creates our own energy. So when we take a step back and we inquire, the tree isn't separate from or independent from its environment, from the sun, from the rain, from the earth, from the air, from the other little beings and humans that live around that tree. And slowly those walls and those separations start to dissolve. And the places that I have visited and been to, like Indigenous cultures, have really a deep understanding for this truth of interconnectedness and live in harmony with their environment, with their surroundings, with each other. And they embody that truth, right? Because what can happen is we can listen to a teaching or we can read some information and then it becomes the mind's memory, and it isn't lived, it isn't embodied, right? We may know something we've read or we've listened to, oh yeah, illusion, separation is the illusion, we're all one. But until we fully embody it, until we have that self-realization, that actual direct realization, not understanding, not knowing, but realization that I am pure consciousness and the whole world, including this body mind and every other body mind and object, is a unique expression of that same one consciousness. Only then can we truly live from the truth as the truth. And that's what true embodiment means. It means to act upon, to make decisions and choices from, to face every experience and situation from the truth as the truth, right? There's no contradiction. Whereas what can happen is if we hear this piece of information or we listen to this teaching, it becomes conceptual. It becomes something that the mind has memorized, and then it becomes an afterthought. We may be having an argument with someone, or we may find ourselves in a lot of intense emotions and completely lose ourselves again in that illusion of separation because we haven't fully embodied the truth. And then what happens is we can become feelings of lots of guilt and shame, because then the mind kicks in and goes, oh, remember, separation is an illusion, we're all one, right? So we have to do the work, we have to do the practices, we have to work towards self-realization, and we have to work towards discovering the truth for ourselves, and we have to anchor into that truth in every moment, especially when we're facing difficult or uncomfortable situations or experiences, because anchoring into that truth is what will bring us peace. It's anchoring into that truth which wisdom arises, and then we can take the conscious decisions and choices and actions from that truth, from wisdom. So I hope this video helps, and if you are interested in the tantric path towards self-realization, then there is a link in the description or in my bio, and the tantric courses that I offer is called Devotion. And there is also a tantric meditation course called Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. So these practices have been passed down and shared to those who are on the path to self-realization and who are open and curious to discovering the truth, who would like to explore their inner world and discover the reality, the source of this entire universe. So thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.